The fact that they're even joking about how the police brutalize black people.
We have a warrant.
Got a warrant.
Right here.
Right there.
Drewski is a millionaire. RaKai is definitely a millionaire at this point, right? These are two black millionaires dancing for the police. Do you know how absurd this is, bruh?
I have a dream.
Hey,
Film out the dog!
To undermine the struggles of impoverished black people in Atlanta living there from a day to day. You know what I'm saying? This is a slap in the face to every mother in the hood right now that's rallying for community builder on those campuses in Atlanta that were fighting so hard for Palestinians. Right? This is a slap in the face, right? The fact that they go out and actively jail people that talk about police brutality.
against the code of law, I have the right to put you guys in handcuffs. If you do not move them.
But then they'll allow streamers like this, they'll allow minstrel shows like this to hop on and do their little dance and giggle with the police, give them a little donut. You know what I'm saying? It's disturbing.
I have a dream.
Oh, yo, what? Shout out to Ari Grass. What the hell? Shout out for taking that steps. Yeah, we need more community organizers. First question I want to ask is, what is minstrelsy? Like, we always got to start from level 1 when we're building with topics like this, chat. Do y'all know what minstrelsy is? I kind of want to see some of the comments, right? Today, it's perfectly legal to discriminate against people in nearly all ways that it was once legal to discriminate against African Americans, right? Look at Renee Good. It's white supremacy short-circuiting. Look at the other dude who's literally a firearm carrying, like, American veteran, took care of veterans. He was a nurse. You know what I'm saying? Like, this is inseparable. But you won't see people call out you won't see people call out the Black Americans who have been killed by ICE, the Hispanic Americans who have been killed by ICE, right? The fact of the matter is, once you're labeled a felon, the old forms of discrimination are suddenly legal, right? And as a Black person, this has a very different conversation when it comes to public spectacle and public dichotomy, right? They will use their token Black murderers or whatever, Black criminals, in order to get their points across. Elon Musk will constantly quote tweet 1 or 2 murders. It's not just Black people going out and attacking white people, you know what I'm saying? The majority of crime is intercommunal, and it's for a reason. It mostly relates to reasons of poverty and people not having enough. People take when they need something, you know what I'm saying? And then they give shoplifters who just want to feed their family and take some bread from Walmart like 20 years in prison, and then make them work for the state at 50 cents an hour. It's not 50 cents an hour, like 50 cents a day, right? It's the legal slavery system of the United States, right?
I have a dream.
Let me read some of this. Literary Insomniac said, "I'm so glad RaKai's mom is trying to do something about his incel behavior. She's grounded him on stream and prevented him from going to specific events. Thank God." Diara said, "The exploitation of a racial group via the performance of stereotypes." Yes, that is minstrelsy. And if I were to expand that definition to an aspect of an art form and the way Black creators are surveilled in an algorithm in an everyday sense, you kind of have to realize the majority of the audience on the internet is white, right? So even in a social matter, this leads to a very different way of curating an audience as a Black artist. You know what I'm saying? Like, hopping on and barking at a camera like Speed may rocket you. It may propel you. Like the watermelon eating challenge and everything, that may get you zooming, right? But Black people in politics, obviously, because of a social history of deliberate ostracization, aren't really a thing. But you know, you see your spaces here and there. I'm not hating on everybody. I love my Amanda Seals. I love FD Signifier. I love Foreign Man. I love Think Peace. I love Pills Boy. I love Ariana Hook. I love all these creators. But to say that these creators are getting more views than the minstrel shows that are like RaKai, AMP, Speed, you know, you would be lying. You would be lying. There's very clearly a type of person that the algorithm favors, and that's someone that can exaggerate their Blackness to an extent. But this is RaKai basically doing a stream with the Atlanta police, and this is what started off my grievances for today.
We about to get in the car. It's time.
Listen, who's more scared, chat? Who look more like a criminal on the Who look? You know what I'm saying? All that.
Hey, turn down crime. What you going on the foot?
I have it. Put your hands up. That's what I'm doing right there.
That's not everybody. No, it ain't just.
Oh yeah, no, yo. You know what I'm saying, bro? Just a quick little scenario.
First of all, the way they laughing and giggling inside of the cop office. You know what I'm saying? First of all, I want to say how purposefully the spectacle is set up. Look at this. They're in the police department with 2 other black people. This is they're purposefully trying to dissuade you from looking at this as white supremacy by taking away white police officers and putting black people in front of you, right? They're like, look at these black people turning up with each other. Obviously the police are good, the police are chill. Look, RaKai is there chilling, laughing. That police officer in the back know that Netanyahu sent RaKai 8K to do that little dance, bruh.
I have a dream.
They sent RaKai 8K to do that dance that's like do 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 do. Netanyahu in the back like, yeah, do 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 do, yeah. Need I remind you, these are the same people trained by the IDF in order to surveil you as an everyday citizen, right? In whatever city you in. If you in Los Angeles, if you in New York, if you in Atlanta, these is the people paid to surveil your ass, to kill your family. Kill your family selectively, racially, in zones, right? Because police patrol people in zones. They don't go out to those white suburbs. They don't go out to those white suburbs. They go out to the black ones. They in Buckhead, right? They in all these other different areas in Atlanta type shit. Like actively profiling people right now as we speak. But in public spectacle, what Copaganda is doing right now, what the Copaganda is doing to your eyes is dissuading you to the reality that black people are suffering. Because they're putting 2 black millionaires, by the way. Drewski is a millionaire. RaKai is definitely a millionaire at this point, right? These are 2 black millionaires dancing for the police. Do you know how absurd this is, bruh?
I have a dream.
To undermine the struggles of impoverished black people in Atlanta living there from a day to day. You know what I'm saying? This is a slap in the face to every mother in the hood right now that's rallying for community. For every single black community builder on those campuses in Atlanta that were fighting so hard for Palestinians, right? This is a slap in the face to them, right? The fact that they go out and actively jail people that talk about police brutality. But then they'll allow streamers like this, they'll allow minstrel shows like this to hop on and do their little dance and giggle with the police, give them a little donut. You know what I'm saying? It's disturbing. But I'm gonna keep this going. I'm gonna keep this going, man.
Yeah. Get your down! Get on your feet out here!
The fact that they're even joking about how the police brutalize black people. The fact that they're chat after the times we saw the Renee Good video. After the times we saw the Alex video, all these videos of actual systemic violence are fresh in our mind. And they're on here joking. They're on here playing in our face about brutality. This can't be any, and I hate they chat. I hate how the whole chat is like, RaKai. Oh my god. I would not be surprised if these was some Mossad agents taking checks, bro. I would not be surprised if this was some form of some type of advertisement hookup with the damn politically pedophilic, to say the least.
Straight up. Hey, so y'all stay with us, man. We about to get in the car right now. We gonna go bust some crime down, man. You know what time it is, bro. Tight.
It's time, bro.
Woo! Get in the car.
You recommended Let This Radicalize You to us a while ago, and since then I become a USB rep and started community organization, and I would have had the confidence if not for the book. Oh, yo, what? Shout out to Ari Grass. Shout out for taking that steps. Yeah, we need more community organizers. And this is my thing, okay? Okay, this is my thing, okay, guys? Because y'all actually need to hear this. When we're talking about actual radicalization, the internet is a very new thing. Like when you would be radicalized with your community and you would take actions with your community, right? But now we're in a global bubble. Now we're in a global bubble where that aspect of radicalization can be played through an aspect of spectacle. So we have a lot of people doing performative activism. Not saying performative activism is a bad thing. Like I would say this activism that I'm doing too is inherently performative. But when I step off that camera, I'm going off and I'm doing 7gen. I'm doing those food kitchens. I'm raising funds for community. You know what I'm saying? You have to ask yourself, what am I doing with the knowledge and radicalization I have? Am I just screaming into a void? Because the comment section is where your radicalization goes to die. It's where your activism goes to die. It's where the brightest minds of our generation are trapped, right? There's so much Fred Hamptons right now in a random TikTok comment section arguing with a bot. Like I'm saying,
I have a dream.
if we had more people that could go out with community and organize us, we'd be way better off. We'd be in a way better position, because the fact of the matter is no one's gonna save us but us. I'm not gonna lie.
I have a dream.
In public connotation, no one's gonna save us but us. You'll hear them talking about Renee Good and all these other people, but after Charlie Kirk died, 3 people got lynched. 3 people got lynched, and they stopped talking about that like almost 4 days afterwards. Almost 4 days afterwards, all that was erased. You know what I'm saying? Black people are gonna die every day. Black people are gonna die all the time due to white supremacy and state violence. If you're not actively organizing with your group, there's gonna be lives lost and lost and lost and lives. Very preventable deaths if you organize with community. You know what I'm saying? Not to say that the internet scholars don't have their usages, because I love being on the internet. I love Elias Sang, I love Foreign Man, I love Allura Nadi, I love Khadija, I love Shanspeare, I love all these people, bro. But at the end of the day, we all form aspects of thoughts that lead you to a place where you can go out and organize with comfortability. You know what I'm saying? We give you that space to vent. We give you that space to talk back to us. We give you that community to do that. But then you take all of that, knowledge and you bring it to the hood. That's right? You take that knowledge and you bring it to the hood, right? Same way Jesus did with all his disciples. Same way every single saint did in the Bible, right? Moses took that knowledge and brought it to the hood.
I have a dream.
That's what you gotta do. Oh my God. Nice to see you, Synthanoid. Nice to see you. Oh, by the way, I'm still trying to cultivate those fruit trees. Only 2 are sprouting right now, but 1 is almost ready to be reported. I can't wait to see. Please send it in the Discord when you grow those fruit trees. Arguing with trolls is a huge waste, right? For real, that book murdered any apathetic, pessimistic perspectives I had in me and made me get off my ass. I'm not gonna lie, the last year has been a time where I've really locked into community, but before then I wasn't as locked. Like, we all need those wake-up calls at the end of the day, and that book really was my wake-up call too, like a year and a half ago when I read it. And I was like, why am I reading all this theory and not applying it in my community? Why am I not doing charity fundraising streams for the mutual aid groups that can run off of like $2,000 a month? Like, they don't need that much money. You know what I'm saying? Turb, this is unrelated, but I've got some OCs and want to ask. One of them is Black and Native American, but I'm not sure what websites are reliable for learning about Native culture. Do you know any? The source is community. The source is community. If you have any indigenous orgs, go to those and then learn from them. The source for me is always community, because like I said, I work way more when I can reasonably chart some sort of history between me and another person, right? Because we live such separate bubbles of lives. Like, if I were to tell you about the bubble of life I'm living in, I'm a Southern Sudanese refugee turned a citizen around 10 years ago in Canada, Saskatoon. I probably live a vastly different social material reality than you do on a day-to-day level. You know what I mean? So I got to go out and actively learn from people who have been resisting this for generations, to say the least. At the same time, I'm connecting with my heritage. I'm still trying to learn my language. I'm still trying to learn how to make my food, still trying to learn how to survive as an adult. You know what I'm saying? Like, all these things are very hard to navigate. So I would say the best way is get indigenous friends. Get indigenous friends and hang out with them. Go to their powwows. Meet their uncles. Meet their grandmas. Sit down for the stories. Listen to them. You know what I'm saying? talk one-on-one with other communities is so beneficial, right? I don't use Discord, but I can email them to you. dangtheob@gmail.com. It's on my YouTube tab too, I think, too. All right, thank you. I feel like asking people so many questions is annoying to them. Nah. Ask me as much questions as you want. That's what this live is for. I'm native, but yeah, there's not really websites. Seek folks out. Right? It's nice to see. Thank you for commenting. It's actually so nice too that my community is diverse enough where I can be like, okay, if I don't know enough knowledge of this, commenter take over. You know what I'm saying? Because I ain't indigenous, to say the least. I ain't indigenous to Turtle Island. I'm indigenous to the River Nile. I'm indigenous to Africa, right? We was kicked off our land. Like, I didn't want to be a settler here. Like, I didn't want. It's just the path of history and genocide that led me here type. You know what I'm saying? So the fact of the matter is I'm so glad I have a lot of y'all around me and y'all educate me daily, because at the same time I love learning from the comments y'all leave. Whether they're in the Discord or in my YouTube chat, because there was this one comment where someone was talking about so we were talking about Beyonce and the aspect of black nationalism, right? And then somebody in my comments started talking about maroonage and how a lot of black folks in extents to liberation had to actively and purposefully seek community in the times of emancipation, and the fact that a lot of them built these remote, I guess, communities in places like swamps away from white society, in very different areas of the world. You know what I'm saying? And that sort of became a nationalistic identity for black people. Whereas like Beyonce is co-opting black nationalism into a sort of mega rhetoric or whatnot. And I'm not too well equipped to talk about black nationalism. And to be honest, I don't think black nationalism is the way. I think that we inherently got to do some sort of rainbow coalition shit between a lot of different communities if we're going to topple white supremacy, for sure. But regardless, it's interesting. If you're from the South and you're a black American from the South, it's good to know your history. It's good to know about maroonage, and it's good to know how your people fought back against white supremacy, regardless. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, it's a bit weird. OC means original character, right? No offense, just feels like a thing white creators do. No, actually, now that I'm thinking about that a little bit, there is a sort of way that black characters and projection are pushed out there. Not saying that you're doing this, chatter. Not saying that you're doing this there. But I'm saying that if I'm saying your name right, Perihelimon, can you enunciate that for me in the comments, because I really want to get that name right. But they're really spitting over here when they're talking about projections of caricatures onto OCs and avatars and art forms. But yeah. What kind of black nationalism? Because arguably I don't blame a few of them not wanting to do a rainbow coalition when non-black people refuse to address anti-blackness. Right? That's what I mean. Exactly. Like I don't blame people for the racialized state of violence that they've actively lived under and had to survive through and had to create community under. So I'm not, like I said, I'm not really hating all the way through. I'm just saying aspects of black nationalism specifically are sometimes tied into American patriotism, like Beyonce, and it gets very flawed and convoluted when it comes to talking about liberation as a whole, because, you know, we're not gonna really pull ourselves up from our bootstraps on some Booker T. Washington. Sorry, that's just that capitalism will not allow for that to happen. The pedophiles in power, the pedophiles on that island will not let you have more than $1 million, bro. I promise you. Like, it's very hard to get past that limit unless you kiss the boot a little bit, right? Did you see the new Black Panthers had to separate themselves from the Black Panthers because of their defense of immigrants and stance against ICE? It made me very sad. Yeah, I saw that sort of Black Panther coalition. I thought that was a CIA psyop. I didn't even think that was real, bro. I thought that was a CIA psyop. That's fair. I don't agree with them. Oh, this is all, by the way, I'm so sorry. I went so off topic, but I felt like some of these things needed to be talked about at first before we delve into the issue at hand, because we're talking about Copaganda and state violence, right? So when we talk about Copaganda and state violence, we have to understand that Black identity, and specifically POC identity too, like Indigenous identity, is ruled through an aspect of perceptual surveillance, right? What I'm saying is, on a day-to-day level, that melanin that you have on your skin, you'll really feel it from the way people interact with you, right? Not because of your culture, not because of the way you speak your mother tongue, not because of any, it's because of that melanin on your skin. It's the way people will interact with you inherently. You know what I'm saying? One of the biggest examples of this in everyday life, I would correlate with like Black experiences around the world, is the aspect of colonization. Learning about colonization and slavery in school, you'll see that little turn all the white boys do immediately. They'll say slavery, and then the only Black person in the room, they staring at them. Or when the lights go off, who's the jokes made out of? You know what I'm saying? And in this way, anti-Blackness is essentially established through the surveillance of you. You are the blueprint for discrimination against anti-Blackness when you're a Black person in a room, right? When you're an Indigenous person in the room, you're the blueprint for Indigenous discrimination. When you're an Asian person in the room, interchangeably, this happens. You know what I'm saying? So I gotta say, when we're talking about Copaganda and state violence, you have to understand that the state also reaffirms anti-Blackness for violence, right? Ari Grass said, I mean the new ones doing real community defense mutual aid. I think they go by Black lines now, and God, I hope I'm not falling for a CIA psyop. I hope they're not, but please send them in the chat because we might go over that in one of these streams. I'm actually really interested in that. I love the Black Panther Party, and I could yap about the Black Panther Party for a million years. But yeah, please send that in the Discord chat if you can. But yeah, when we're talking about state violence, that's essentially how state violence is structured, through an aspect of enforcing racialization, right? The way you constantly see Black people in a criminal state. You'll constantly see Black people with those, what are they called? The jail photos flicked up. Mugshots. You'll constantly see mugshots of Black people. But when it's a white person that does a crime, you'll see their whole family. You'll see them on a jet ski. You'll see them in Dubai just having a blast. You might see them in Santa Monica twerking at a strip club type. You know what I'm saying?
I have a dream.
But when it's a Black person, especially a Black little boy, they go through an aspect called adultification, where the reaffirmation of violence against them is because the state views them as inherently criminal. One of my biggest examples is Christy Noam using AI art to depict Black TikTokers as these raging heathens against ICE in order to justify Chicago raids. You know what I'm saying? The Black Panther Party of self-defense, I do hope that's semi-legit if they rebranded. I don't blame them. But legit, the Rhetoric should be a lot more people. You're not that late, Ether Boy. I haven't really even hopped in it. Oh, Ducky! Yo, what's up, Ducky?
I have a dream.
What's up, Ducky? How you been? How you been? Been a whole month, fam. Nice to see you again. Nice to see you again. Right? But the topic of this video revolves around spectacle, and the spectacle of Black identity very specifically. Not to say that this spectacle isn't interchangeable with like Indigenous communities and the way they've massacred Indigenous people. The spectacle is interchangeable in an aspect of state violence. But when we're talking about minstrelsy and things like RaKai doing a stream with the Atlanta Police Department, right? The same police department that bulldozes homeless encampments ruthlessly to the point where they killed a homeless man with a bulldozer last year. We had to ask some questions about how ethical this is, right? The same Atlanta Police Department that works with the IDF.
You gotta stop doing that. Be serious about your craft. This is the reason why you joined the force. Right. Wrong with you, man. Get right, bro, because I'm telling you now, your shit might be what? See, strap in. This is one of our serious ones. Wait, hold on. I told you, sit back. I told you, stop being a bro. You still got your...
Does he say suspect might be Black?
10-4, we're listening. What happened? Testing? What the are you testing for?
Damn. But anyways, they go out and patrol communities, and that's the gist of the stream, right? So let's start off with stating why this is Copaganda. Why is this Copaganda, chat? What is Copaganda, right? Copaganda is very normalized in an everyday setting. So even beginning to talk about the aspect of Copaganda, I feel, is a little hard from a day-to-day, right? Because think of something like Paw Patrol. You might think of them as like little cute little dogs, but that's Copaganda too. That's affirming police actions and police state violence. You know what I'm saying? Things like Zootopia. Zootopia was a Copaganda movie, and it fit the means of racialization onto Black communities by coining them as predators, right? And then making the little detective cop and the detective bunny the damn people that needed to protect the herbivores, you know what I'm saying, or the smaller animals from these big carnivores. In real life, the racialization of state violence is disproportionately put on Aboriginal and black bodies. You know what I'm saying? On melanated bodies. So the aspect of police surveillance is reaffirmed in the movie Zootopia. So I gotta say, someone said Brooklyn Nine-Nine. Yeah, you totally right, Z Gamer. You totally right. Brooklyn Nine-Nine is straight Copaganda.
I have a dream.
Normalizing it uncritically, right, Ducky? Yeah, I hate that show. Drewski been a sellout for the community. This is unsurprising for him, right? Unrelated, but did you see Pusha T was mentioned in the new episode? Pusha T went to that island?
I have a dream.
Why the fuck would you go to that island?
I have a dream.
Why the fuck would you go to that island? Wait, are we getting a raid? A Jason raid? A Jeter raid? Oh my god. Thank you so much. Thank you so much, Jeter, for the raid. But anyways, what we doing right now is talking about Copaganda. We're talking about the aspect of digital minstrelsy that RaKai and Drewski are partaking in, and we're relating that right now to spectacle, surveillance culture, and how systemic violence happens. But it's really nice to see y'all. Really nice to see y'all on the chat, man. Really nice to see y'all. Turb, the mod chat, Turb. Oh, I'll check it real quick. One day we'll talk about the role of animation / anthropomorphic. The stream is moving so damn quick, bro. I never had a stream move this quick, bro. Everybody talking at the same time, bro. Oh my god.
I have a dream.
But I want to do one quick breathing exercise with y'all, okay? Everybody lock in with me. We're gonna do one quick exercise just to tell you all about propaganda, okay? Take a deep breath. Take a deep breath in. Think about a time where you felt safe. And not just like, not uneasy, not unnerved, safe. Like secured, settled, right? Think about that time. Okay, where are you? Who do you see? Can you hear anything? Can you smell anything? You know, paint the details. Paint a picture until it's clear in your mind, right? Maybe you see a friend, a teacher, a family member. Perhaps you see a place like your bedroom or your homeland, right? Maybe you see your dog, right? Maybe you see a bunch of these things. Notice how in all of these damn imaginations that you're having, you'll never think of a damn cop.
I have a dream.
You'll never think of a damn cop in relative to thinking about safety.
I have a dream.
And the fact that I haven't seen a single comment of anybody talking about a cop.
I have a dream.
You know what I mean? So there's a very real unnerving feeling when we're talking about cops that needs to be dissected from a forefront, because at a class conscious level, we all realize that cops are pigs, dog.
I have a dream.
We all realize they need to be kirked.
I have a dream.
We all realize they need to be done worse than Mussolini. We all realize they have to be strung up to the damn airplane helicopter and dropped in Pompeii.
I have a dream.
Exploded. We all realize that, right? Especially now with ICE. We know they slave catchers. But the aspect of Copaganda is very complicated because in an everyday state, the state still sells cops as a plausible way of having communal safety to you from a day-to-day level, right? Someone said, yeah, I wouldn't call cops if I'm in trouble. To double down on that, when I got home invaded, right? I got home invaded around a year and a half ago. Because I used to live in the hood, not gonna lie. I used to live in the hood and we got home invaded. The cops that came literally wrote off the home invasion immediately when they saw the color of my skin and my family's skin. They wrote it off as gang violence, right? They said this was a gang affiliated attack and then just stopped it at that. They didn't give us any care for psychiatric help. They didn't give my little sisters psychiatric help. They didn't give my mother any sort of resources for communal help. They didn't give any of us anything. They straight up just wrote it off as gang violence. You know how vile that is, just off of surveillance.
I have a dream.
It's weird. It's sickening. You know what I'm saying? And I got a video about this though, because at the end of the day, I realize a lot of people are marketed in this way and not radicalized against cops in the same way a lot of black people are, a lot of indigenous people are. But the aspect of police and systemic violence happening in our communities is shared intercommunally by the fact that we go through it, right? By the fact that we have people that have died to police violence and we collectively mourn it, right? When people die, but when police violence happens, it'll go out of the news in 1 month, but it will stay in our communities generationally. It'll stay in our communities in an aspect of trauma, an aspect of epigenetic trauma. It'll change the way we move. It'll change the way we rally. It'll change the way we even seek support communally. And that's a very sad thing that isn't really investigated when we're talking about Copaganda. But I got this really good kind of clip from Allura Naughty. If y'all don't know who Allura Naughty is, big shout outs to Allura Naughty. They're a big friend of this channel, fam. They do the damn work where they talk about politics, and they've literally went as far as beefing Eric Adams, like at the time the head of the literal police state of the US. But I'm gonna play this clip from them because
I especially get when
they get it.
how black people could support policing and whatnot, because everybody's being raised in a world that says that police is synonymous with public safety and yada yada. What I understand less is like the active, like I get a lot of black people like actively like make life harder for other black people. Like they literally will be angry at you for proposing something. You're like, hey, a lot of families are dead, and they're like, fuck that. No, we don't want that. Like, I write a piece that's like, hey, all of these black mayors you like so much are like specifically locking up black people, like especially so, like a lot more than even the white person before them were locking up. And they're like, shut the up, black excellence.
Yeah, well, it's because most of those pundits or most of those political chess pieces are people who have to overcompensate. Like, I think we understand that. Like, they overcompensate for the political participation that's necessary for them to get in office and to stay in office, right? So we all have the experience of the black cop or the Latino cop that goes, or the Asian cop even, that goes harder on the community than even his white counterpart, right? So we understand that even on an anecdotal micro level, you know, that reflects itself in the political sphere as well.
And I especially get when it comes to black people.
So when we're talking about communal surveillance, right, and we're talking about police, I've seen a lot of like ICE officers be black. I've seen a lot of ICE officers be Hispanic. One thing we have to know is even though coons exist, because coons are a thing, right? Class traders, these sellouts, black people that go run to the white aspect of surveillance in order to find a little niche that they can be comfortable in. These people are coons, right? And the fact that they joined ICE is the fact that they turned their back on community. Like I saw this one clip of this Somalian ICE officer like helping with the ICE raids in Minnesota, right? And all the Somalian aunties immediately speaking in their mother tongue, rejecting this guy, pushing this guy out, right? I have to highlight that because a lot of immigrants here haven't felt the extensive police violence because we haven't intergenerationally lived here for that long, right? We haven't lived here for that long. But the thing is, when ICE is a new thing, and ICE is a force that is actively going around terrorizing everybody, we're gonna find that out real quick, fam. We're gonna find that out real quick.
I have a dream.
So I gotta say this for all the immigrants too that are in a spectacle of blackness, because for me, I'm Southern Sudanese. Like a lot of y'all think I'm like Black American, or I'm Southern Sudanese. You know what I'm saying? My family is Southern Sudanese. I had to actively learn how to be radical through the aspect of other black people and black folks taking actions and educating me. As somebody that's been here for 20 damn years, I haven't been here for generations on generations. You know what I'm saying? I was radicalized by a lot of other black people's actions and events that I saw in an everyday sense. You know what I'm saying? But these ICE raids are specifically working off of a global agenda of white hegemony. And they'll go to these places and attack the minority groups. They'll go to California and attack Hispanics. They'll go to Ohio and attack the Haitian community. They'll go to Minnesota and attack the Somalian community. So when those ICE agents come to Canada, like specifically places like Alberta, and then they start attacking the indigenous community, or they go to Saskatchewan and they start attacking the Filipino community, or they go to Toronto and they start attacking the Jamaican community, you have to realize the same aspect of racialization and hegemony is being played into by these ICE officers, right? And that's the important thing about racialization when it comes to an aspect of state violence. That's how it's solidified. It's solidified by establishing a white hegemony and then attacking those outside of that white hegemony. Somali. I'm so sorry. Somali. I saw a Latino ICE officer with an accent police another Latino with damn near the same accent. It's pathetic and shameful, right? Establishing a narrative.
I have a dream.
That's what these ICE officers do. They establish a narrative, and then they carry out that state violence on the most marginalized, right? However, that normalization of safety is regulated through a public spectacle, selectively curated to help police image. That's what propaganda is. That's what Copaganda is. You know what I'm saying? The fact that people like Nick go out and demonize Somali daycares, right? In order to prove to a white hegemony that Somali people are basically taking control of the government or wrecking the government. That's not the case. That's not the case. All of the fraud was done by rich white men, right? All of the fraud is done by rich white men. But propaganda is widespread and it relies on an aspect of racial relation that you partake in every day, right? Shows like Paw Patrol with the cute cuddly little dog and whatnot, that he don't got a gun, he got a woofer, right? Still propaganda, facets of propaganda. But I also want to talk about the aspect of minstrelsy that RaKai definitely partakes in when it comes to public connotation. Because
if you're someone that suffers from having sensitive teeth, but you want them whiter, I recommend Sensodyne.
The hell? What is this Mossad agent sending Sensodyne to me for? But anyways, if you're somebody also that lives in the aspect of public spectacle and you've been on that TikTok For You page, you know at the end of the day, black people as a whole are kind of caricaturized, right? You'll see the speed gifs. You'll see the little the montages of purposefully exaggerated caricatures that a lot of these people do in these damn TikToks and everything. Someone said Turb is getting a forceful sponsor.
I have a dream.
But anyways, in an everyday spectacle, the reaffirmation of black identity is a common thing that we all participate in. You'll open the comment section, everyone's speaking in AAVE. Even though you don't see that much melanin, everybody's speaking in AAVE. You open that comment section, everybody using those black gifs. Even though you don't see that much black people, everybody using those black gifs. There's a very obvious aspect of relation that comes in conversation with these creators. And with RaKai, look at this Sensodyne commercial, bruh. Look at this Sensodyne commercial. But with RaKai, I see a lot of that happening in his comment sections, right? I mean, look over here. Look over here. I think the book hears you, gang. Like, look at people caricaturizing him. Like, this looks straight out of a damn 1900s Jim Crow like magazine. You know what I'm saying?
I have a dream.
These people are disproportioning his proportions in such a profound way. I'm like, damn, this is a new version of minstrelsy. You know what I'm saying?
I have a dream.
That's why I low-key call this version like digital minstrelsy, to say the least. Because the fact of the matter is the medium has shifted. Right? The minstrelsy is not happening in theaters anymore. The theaters are now streaming websites. The theaters are now public platforms. They're now TikTok. They're now YouTube. They're now all these databases of relativity that we all move through in an everyday setting. But I gotta say, RaKai is definitely demonized in this way when it comes to an aspect of minstrelsy. And secondly, streaming is probably as you see it over here, streaming is probably the biggest secondary platform. I mean, the biggest main platform coming to the forefront, right? Think of things like the aspect of TikTok coming to the forefront, leading to a whole new avenue of creators. Or Vine coming to the forefront, leading to a whole new avenue of creators, right? Vine is the reason why we have Curtis Connor. It's why we have Danny Gonzalez. It's why we have Quen Blackwell, all these creators that have come and established a normalcy in the algorithm for all of these years. Streaming is that new algorithm. Someone said like the Cynthia thing, exactly like the Cynthia Erivo thing. I did a video on that, but a bunch of people were partaking in her anti-blackness in dichotomy with Ariana Grande for sure. But like it says here, the growing bounty of content on streaming services has forever changed TV viewing behavior, with streaming consumption now consistently accounting for the biggest driver of TV usage. And while we spend and while the time we spend with TV is largely flat, our time spent streaming video continues to rise. In 2023, US audience streamed 21 million years worth of video, an incredible 21% increase from the 17 million years worth they streamed in 2022. And this is 2023, this was 3 years ago, fam. Compared with 2022, however, the writer and actor strikes in Hollywood meant that audience has significantly less new content to binge throughout much of 2023. That, combined with the focus on content monetization across the streaming landscape, helped inspire new content distribution strategies to keep audiences engaged and loyal amid the range of new service offerings, right? According to Grace Note, audiences had 90 different streaming services to choose from at the end of last year, up from 51 at the start of 2020. The depth of those services, just under 1 million unique titles worth, proved vital in 2023, right? And I gotta say that in an aspect of content creation, when people like RaKai, people like AMP are at the forefront of streaming, when they're the most streamed creators on this kind of digital renaissance of creativity, you have to think about how they're using the aspect of Black identity. One major thing that I talked about at the beginning of this video that I want to bring up again is how they utilize women. They'll have light-skinned, pretty women beside them all the time. But as soon as it's a little bit of a bigger Black woman, you'll see those degradations straight up. And I think this is very purposeful. I think that they do this in order to reaffirm an aspect or stature of masculinity surrounding themselves and other people. Someone said there's been stuff on my IG feed about Speed being surprised and enjoying his experiences in Africa. So that's a bit wholesome at least, right? I'm coming back to Speed. I'm actually doing a main channel video on Speed because I feel like Speed deserves way more than just a stream when it comes to the conversation of him. But yeah, people like Speed arose from Minstrelsy, barking at people, purposely exaggerating a caricature to, I guess, sell to an audience. But anyways, I'm gonna play this video. Y'all gotta see what I mean by this.
Hey.
Stop calling
his
my phone.
Wait. Oh.
Stop calling her phone. She can't fuck tonight. That's how it goes. One question. You ever had a kiss before?
A kiss?
Yeah.
Yes.
I never had a kiss before.
Why could you breath?
This is disgusting to watch. The fact that this person is so young. This was literally 3 days ago. This says posted 3 days ago, chat. This person is so damn. This is like a little kid, bruh. Imagine your little brother doing that on stream with somebody, bruh. Oh my god. Chat, can you hear me? But chat, this is a little kid. Chat, this is a little ass kid doing this. You have to understand, this is a little kid doing this. This kid is like 16 years old. This was posted 3 days ago. He's on chat. Imagine if this was your little brother doing shit like, oh my god, damn. But on the other hand, while he's fantasizing and portraying a sort of caricature of femininity, he's establishing anti-blackness in an algorithm. That's the point I want to make. This man is actively establishing a point of anti-blackness for his audience to relate to in a point of relation, in an audience spectacle, right? And what spectacle is defined by De Boer, it's the way an image is processed by a broader public, right? They're gonna process this image of this light-skinned woman beside this black man in a broader public in a certain way, because this is a conventionally attractive light-skinned woman. But let that woman be any darker than this. Let that woman be any heavier than this. All of a sudden, the opinions it'll change, right? Sammy said, is this RaKai? Yes. And my question is, where's Kai Cenat? Bro, where's your dad?
I have a dream.
Bro, where's your dad?
I have a dream.
Bro, where are the trusted adults around this kid, bro? Is he really allowed to hop on and fantasize about a grown woman on camera? Like, is that not why?
I have a dream.
Am I the only one freaking out over this? I don't know. This is just wild to me. This is wild to me. You go into those comment sections, you see people saying the most derogatory too, because RaKai opens up this conversation too. Kai Cenat is not his dad, I'm sorry. Kai Cenat is a trusted adult. I don't even think Kai Cenat's a trusted adult though. Oh my god.
I have a dream.
Chat, if Kai Cenat is your trusted adult, you're cooked. Chat, if Kai Cenat is your trusted adult, get a new adult. Get adoption papers. Get adoption papers. You need adoption papers. That's the only thing that's gonna save you, bro. Kai Cenat gonna have you tap dancing in front of damn. Oh my god. I wouldn't be surprised if, I won't even go that far. But you saw those Desi Banks allegations with Mossad agents. I wouldn't even be surprised if Kai Cenat was in on that a little bit too. The fact that he get this much views and is propagating an aspect of anti-blackness in a public spectacle when it comes to cops, when it comes to femininity, when it comes to streaming, so like, someone said Kai Cenat is like part of the reason why RaKai has been exposed to so much as a kid, right? Right? What about those Big Brother programs? Kai Cenat should not be in a Big Brother program, bro. Kai Cenat should not be in a Big Brother program.
I have a dream.
But anyways, these comments open up open up misogyny, right? Right. Once he says quick question, just expect the unexpected. What about Piper? I ain't gonna lie, would have ended the stream after that. Right? Some people saying I need to get rich. You have people fantasizing about this, right? My guy shoots shots from half court. They're actively applauding RaKai for this aspect of misogyny, right? Why are they applauding this guy for the aspect of misogyny that he's partaking in? When a 16-year-old boy, right? Imagine if this was like a 16-year-old girl or something saying she was going like a grown-ass man. The comment section will look very different, right? But it's the adultification of black men. And this is why I talked about racialization at the very start and how black people are perceived in public connotation, right? RaKai will be applauded for this by the comment section. RaKai will be applauded by AMP. RaKai will be applauded by the algorithm. But let this be anybody else. Let this be a dark-skinned woman that's a little bit bigger in any way. All of a sudden, he's acting the most disgusted you've seen in your life, right? And I got a video for this. Right? And then you see RaKai actively backing away. You see the whole comment section. You'll see the whole comment section, right? Degrading this woman in a public spectacle. But that's what these streamers want. That's what these streamers farm. These streamers farm that retention because these clips get millions of views. These clips get tens of thousands of likes in the comments. You know what I'm saying? Publicly reaffirmed by other people, right? Am I the only one who doesn't find this funny or cute? They both in diapers has been doing some weird as a group. Like, you know, a lot of them are very misogynistic. Some of these Ty Lil accusations, I kind of side-eye them because they're lining up with how they treated Halle Bailey. Remember when DDG was dating Halle Bailey and they had a whole fallout and everything. And then everybody started attacking Halle Bailey. And all these streamers like Kai Cenat and AMP, I'd say by correlation, we're taking the side of DDG. Like, while that was happening, DDG was given a platform on Streamers University and given MVP of Streamers University. The whole time he had those allegations where he was beating Halle Bailey. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's a little weird to me. So I'll say inherently a lot of these men move online in a spectacle of reaffirmation pertaining to their masculinity, if that makes sense. Like, they'll have light-skinned women on, but then they'll discard and degrade dark-skinned, like, bigger women. You know what I'm saying? They'll do all this through an aspect of spectacle too. Why is she wearing diapers? That's his baby mama for real. I always thought they was playing, right? No way Drewski picked her. Still in shock. And the thing is, that woman probably knows what it is. and probably joined the stream in order to be caricaturized. And that's a really sad part of the reality too of minstrelsy that RaKai partakes in and exhibits to his audience. The fact of the matter is these characterizations are actively being solidified for a monetary incentive.
I have a dream.
Right? That's what streaming has done for these people. Streaming has gave them that monetary incentive because every time they do something like this, they're applauded. They get millions of likes in an algorithm. They get so much comments. It's a very weird predatory system of surveillance that's happening with RaKai, and AMP is allowing it. So much other people are allowing it. I would go as far as to say as everybody who collabs with is allowing this. Like, look at, there's this one clip that he has with Drewski that I have to throw up on the big screen. You have to look at this. Look at this.
Yeah. Everybody put their hands on the car. Put your hands on the car. Put your hand. God damn. Yeah. What you doing? Pastor, put your hands up. On a serious note, everybody put their hands on the car.
That's a damn pedophile case, guys. That's a damn pedophile case. I just gotta say. They are actively reaffirming the spectacle of pedophilia for black youth, right? Actively reaffirming the adultification of black youth, while also actively reaffirming state violence because of the way they're cosplaying as police officers and everything. Someone said it's entertainment for the white majority, right? They act like these streamers don't do the same thing she does, right? Kind of related, but when media outlets reported about the Duffer brothers' inappropriate behavior toward the minor actors in kissing scenes, the title would be Brothers Under Fire for Having Kiss C. Oh my God. Right? And this stream didn't happen that long ago. This stream happened in the last week. To even top it off, RaKai has had clip after clip or interaction after interaction where RaKai is actively just talking about the fact that like he's having this open sex and conversation of caricature with light-skinned women, and nobody is stopping him. I one more clip here, I promise.
It's like this. Hey, this shit, my nigga. You feel me? That shit. Tell me why, my nigga. I was trying like you know you get that feeling. You feel like, you feel me? I got that feeling, but I'm like my ego's too high. I'm like, okay, I'm still good. But it just kept going. You know, so I'm thinking in my mind like, no, why?
It feels illegal to listen to a 17-year-old talk about the way they nutted in a woman. It feels illegal, first of all. I don't even know how to even navigate this conversation because he is a baby. Like, this is a baby. But the fact of the matter is he's getting gassed by AMP. He's getting gassed by Drewski. He's getting gassed by so much people because he gets so much views by acting in this way, right? And I want to say RaKai is a damn product of minstrelsy, and he's a product for the actual solidification of this process on the youth, right? This will carry on to Gen Z because streaming is the new platform, right? But Twitch banned Hassan for saying cracker. Oh my God.
I have a dream.
Like, no way. Like, no way. I mean, this is America. This is America. We have pedophiles in power. We have pedophiles that literally run the government and that have trafficked Eastern European women for the last 30 damn years. Since the fall of the USSR, I could even say, push it that far. You know what I'm saying? Billionaires have been doing it for that long. But the way RaKai can hop on in a public spectacle and still reaffirm this, to me, has to be put under some type of spotlight, because you can't just come out and do all this, right? And I have to say, it's really important to question what the performance of artists translates into. Although this performance for the camera, sometimes as a black art is inherently degrading, some of Drewski's skits can be funny, right? He's probably one of black culture's most convoluted spectacles ever presented in the modern day in a form of entertainment. I can understand that, right? Although I hate how Speed barks to project a caricature, Speed's Africa tour transcends the conversation of minstrelsy and instead became a conversation on how the black diaspora globally experiences anti-blackness. I can understand how streaming is a good conversation or a good medium of art for black people. I can. But I can't excuse this behavior specifically with RaKai. It's so weird, right? It's so weird. My critique of this is how Kai Cenat and AMP selectively use RaKai to peddle content in a public theater of minstrelsy. Right? It's how the Clover Boys interact with women. It's how RaKai interacts with women. It's how RaKai gets applauded in the algorithm of likes and monetary value for interacting with these women, right? And the reason why the degradation of black women come in tandem with the people they bring on stream is because of racialization. Having fat black women portrayed in this way, while light-skinned, slimmer women are praised and fawned over, reaffirms the negative ideas of commonality surrounding blackness from a majority, and they'll absorb that. However, this same art form wouldn't exist without an imaginary idea of white culture that sees us as inferior, right? This is the new version of digital minstrelsy, ushered in by people like RaKai, right? And throughout history, the art form of minstrelsy has taken many appearances and lived in the subconscious of American minds through popular attitudes towards race relations, whether this was against or for the art form, right? Minstrelsy is literally the reason why we have generalizations like the book, along with the prevalence of the BBC wife taker, the Jezebel, the mammy, the YN, right? Stereotypes are really good when you need marketing around why you're sending millions of black lazy workers to toil in plantations and to live second-class lives in America, right? Many of these stereotypes seen are a continued legacy of commodification created during the height of the transatlantic slave trade, I could even say, in order to justify the business of slavery. So I'm throwing this way too far back, but to loop it back around, RaKai is partaking in this aspect of minstrelsy because it's applauded, right? It's applauded by people in a public spectacle. It's applauded in an everyday sense, in an everyday normality. Throughout a history of anti-blackness, it's applauded. And this is how we've gotten to this point. Someone said you aren't throwing too far back, but I might be throwing a little bit far back for like a lot of the white audience. I don't know if y'all know what minstrelsy is.
I have a dream.
I don't know if y'all know what minstrelsy is, but I'm going to throw it up on the screen so you could read a little bit about this right here. This is a really good, by the way, this is a really good source if you want to delve into what minstrelsy is. Minstrelsy emerged in the early 1800s as the first distinctly American form of popular culture. And the important thing about understanding minstrelsy is understanding the social aspect of minstrelsy from which it arose from. Why did minstrelsy arise, chat? Why did people need to reaffirm anti-blackness in an everyday level? I just want to start with that. Because this was the era of emancipation, right? This is the era where black people were given freedom, supposedly turning over a new leaf where they could work and have better, someone said link this source. Okay, I'll throw this in there real quick. That's the source over there. Someone said dehumanization. Yo, Dre, nice to see you, Dre.
I have a dream.
Bandito said it's too easy, Jim Crow. Yeah, Bandito, you right on the money. It is Jim Crow to reinforce false racial hierarchies. Yup. They need us to not be anything but property, right? One of the first aspects of digital minstrels, or one of the first aspects of public spectacle surrounding minstrelsy, started with newspaper companies and how they marketed black farmers. After emancipation, obviously, because the slaves were toiling the land, they were the best at cultivating crops. They knew how to plant crops in the soil and produce high yields, the highest amounts of yields. They knew how to fertilize the soil better than anybody else. You know what I'm saying? Because they were the literal tools of slavery, right? They were the tools. They were the farm tools. And it feels very hard to say, but that's essentially history. Black people were farm tools to white people. So when emancipation happened and those tools can actively like make their own money and cultivate capital for themselves, that threatened a lot of white plantation owners, right? Threatened a lot of poorer white people who had farms that couldn't afford slaves. It threatened that dichotomy. So essentially what they started doing was painting black people who ate watermelon as messy. They did this through an aspect of caricature. They drew them in an exaggerated ways, eating this watermelon or consuming this watermelon or interacting with this watermelon. You know what I'm saying? And what that does is that took agency away from black community by saying, look at these careless black people. This is what happens when they get power. That way, white, rich people could keep on commodifying black lands while still keeping black people in sharecropping industries and paying them nothing. You know what I'm saying? Paying them nothing while they still did the jobs for those white plantation owners, right? Miss McCoy said the first currency was black bodies during slavery in this capitalistic system. And we learned today human and child trafficking is still the currency between the evil elites, right? I mean, y'all read those, oh my God, y'all read those files? Y'all saw the image of the black box in front of that cross? Or the raw chicken with the redacted image of a child's leg? You know what I'm saying? It's from 1861 to 1899 is when they very much needed to make sure every person racialized as white to fear Africans more than they have already, right? So when we're in a new age, when we're talking about the socialization of 2025, right? And we're talking about the way they use ICE to marginalize communities. Let's talk about that. Let's do a thought experiment and relate it to a everyday commonality, right? How is the state racializing black people? How are they racializing Hispanic people? How are they racializing Haitians? How are they racializing Somalis? How are they still racializing black people? How are they racializing indigenous people on their treaty lands? Their treaty lands that they were historically given because they were genocided by conquistadors, right? They're generalizing them as other in order to systemically instill violence against them, in order to justify police raids in Minnesota, in order to justify ICE raids in New York City, in order to justify raids in Texas, in LA, right? They're demonizing these people with certain caricatures. So I gotta say, to that extent, you have to keep in mind the way the state will racialize you and the way public dichotomy will racialize you too. Because this aspect of caricaturization goes as far as destroying the concept of inherent communal authority or communal, what's it called? Communal solidarity that we have in an everyday sense, right? And thank you so much, Miss McCoy, for chatting, for bringing that up in the chat.
I have a dream.
They want to take indigenous kids away from their parents and they're voting on it in 2 weeks. Oh my God.
I have a dream.
That mimics a history of residential schools that have happened in Canada, right? The last residential school in Canada, I think, closed in the 1980s. If I'm being, it might be a little bit later. It might have been like the 1990s, but I think the 1980s. And what the residential schools were they were a system of power created by the white majority government in Canada that was settling across the prairies and wanted to bring society to barbaric people living in the prairies. Meanwhile, it was just indigenous people living in harmony with the land. You know what I'm saying? But what they did was they took all these indigenous people's kids, threw them in residential schools, stripped them from their culture, their language, right? Stripped them from their language, stripped them from their places of homes, their places of comfort, so they couldn't communally rally for each other, and so they could forget their own identity and heritage, right? Civilizing, aka the language of the colonizers, right? Yeah, you know where they live. They had them in the US too to erase indigenous culture. I haven't researched too much about US residential schools, so I'm not that I guess educated about it. So if you can yap about it in my comments, I'll read it out. If anybody is from the US and is indigenous, yap about it in my comments, because I'm way more familiar with aspects of Canadian racialization as they happen at a political level, right? Spiffy Juggins says, which is why it pisses me off that Dems won't fight when the admin talks about the importance of assimilation. That's genocide, right? And this is sad as hell, because in an everyday setting, when I was little, one of the first things we learned in social class was assimilation is a good thing, right? The fact that we need to assimilate to Canadian identity and aspire to be a part of, and aspire to be a cog in the Canadian imperialistic system in order to be a good Canadian, right? Because the Canadian is a melting pot of multiple identities, right?
I have a dream.
We don't learn about residential schools at first. I only learned about residential schools when I reached grade 12, Type. Support radical left creators. People are actively being buried by the algorithm more and more. And on purpose, YouTube is being compromised, right? This is ethnic cleansing.
The Sudanese flag, please, throw up this other. Just don't throw up an American flag. Throw up anything. We going after ICE right now. I want to see the chat flooded right now. I want to see the chat flooded with Sudanese flags right now. Or with something. I need to see something. Hey! We coming for ICE! Hey! Wait. Aye. We're starting this all over. This is to anybody that's with ICE. This is to anybody that's with Copaganda. This is for anybody not rallying with community. Aye. Hey! Donald Trump, you fucking pedophile. Hey! ICE come up. I'm a single file. I'm a single file. They gon' call me too, I'm single file. And we don't like pedophiles. White supremacists in denial. Elon Musk on Twitter in denial. Oh my god. Wait, we gotta start this all over. One more time. Shout to Somalians, shout Somalia, shout Jamaica. I'm seeing down Palestine flags in this. I'm seeing down everything in this. Hey, I get out of Cali. You don't want to smoke with the Maoris. Get them out of Cali. Get the fuck out of soda. Hey, I don't even like ice in my soda. I don't quota. Ice. I'm catching bullet quotas. To my audience, 60 bullets at ICE officers, I'm giving you a quota. 60 bullets at law enforcement, I'm giving you a quota. Leave them over. Send them over. I'ma send them to Jehovah. Put them ass in a split. Get them done in a freaking gym. Throw them off a freaking cliff. Fuck ICE, get out of Cali. You don't want beef with the fucking Maoris. With the Maoris. You don't want beef with the Maoris. With the Maoris. Yeah. Okay, chat. I went a little too hard. My hair all over the place. I gotta say, thank you so much, chat, because I haven't been on live in a good month. You know what I'm saying? This is my first live of the year. So to everybody here right now, to everybody that's subbing, I saw a lot of people sub into the chat, Twitch chat and everything. Thank you so much. It helps so much. Join the Discords, whatever, turn on those notifications and whatever. One thing I also really gotta say is, like, I took that little break because I needed to take a little bit of a mental rest, you know? Because when you're constantly on camera, it can get hard to perceive yourself. So I had to go outside with community. You know what I'm saying? But it's been nice chilling with y'all. And I will be back every Saturday at 3 p.m. You know what I'm saying? I'll hop in here and there throughout the week. But for sure, every Saturday at 3 p.m. I will be streaming. So thank y'all so much. I'm sending y'all hearts. Why can't I sub on Twitch? Oh, I haven't. I'm sorry. I saw people following. But my sub, I still have to set up my subs. I still have to set up my monetization on Twitch. I'm not getting paid on Twitch, by the way. I do this for fun. I'm not getting paid on Twitch. I do this for fun on Twitch. But if you want to support me, my Ko-Fi is always there and whatnot. But I gotta say, it's been love. The stream has been amazing. And one thing that we're gonna do is we're gonna do a raid right now. Because we got raided and we have to share that love. I'm under the impression that the Twitch community is a place of love. You know what I'm saying? Because when I got on here, I got raided by Sean the Black. I got raided by Hassan one time. I got raided by all these different people. So I have to repay that love. So to the audience, I'm asking you, where do you want me to raid? Who is your favorite streamer right now? And who should I give that love to? Chat, you decide. You decide, chat. Someone said get in touch with Redux City. Are they streaming right now? I will check out their channel, though. Thank you so much for Jason Love for that raid too, by the way. RaKai. Oh, RaKai! I love RaKai, actually. Yeah, let's stream. Let's raid RaKai. Raid. RaKai. Okay. Chat, when you get in RaKai's stream, please yell please yell that you're rating. Yell, show love, throw hearts, because you have to carry on that love, right? Like I'm saying, as leftist creators, it's very hard to do what we do. So you know, carrying on that love in that community is essential, and I thank y'all so much for doing this. But we're about to start the raid in 3, 2, 1. Go, 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 go. Get him, get him, get him, get him. And as always, it's love. As always, it's love. And I'll catch y'all.